Hello students, yesterday I explained third part of the lesson Evans tries and O level. Students, in that part I was telling you that Stuart McLary, I mean to say impersonating Stuart McLary, was making the correction in the question paper. Now I am going to explain fourth part of the lesson. Listen. The governor listened and smiled. He had taken German in the sixth form himself and he remembered all about the agreements of adjectives. While McLary was, or impersonating McLary was making the correction in question paper, governor was listening his voice through the receiver. After listening McLary's voice, after listening some German words from McLary's voice, he smiled because he was able to understand those German words because he had taken German language in while he was in sixth standard, and he remembered all about the matching or agreements of adjectives. So did McLary. By the sound of things, or for the minister's pronunciation was most impressive. And ministers or impersonating Stuart McLary's pronunciation of German words sounded most impressive to the governor. Governor was impressed by Stuart McLary's proper pronunciation of German words. But what about Evans? He probably did not know what an adjective was. But governor was thinking about Evans because Evans hopefully probably knew something about adjectives because a tutor recently started reaching in his cell to teach him German language. Before that, he never studied. That is why governor was thinking probably Evans did not know about the adjectives. Mr. Why he was thinking? He was thinking because an idea was being developed in his mind. If Evans was not trying to escape from the prison, because he did not know any adjectives of German language, he did not know anything about German language, then why he tried to attempt examination in O level German language? You see, governor was thinking the correction which McLary was making in question paper, Evans was not able to understand anything. Okay? The phone rang again, the magistrate courts. They needed a prison van and a couple of prison officers remand case. After that, the phone rang. Phone rang at governor's office. It was the phone call from magistrate court. There was a need of a prison van and two prison officers because there was a remand case. Student, remand case you know very well. Remand case is the case in which a criminal is sent to the prison in custody for further inquiries. Okay, means a criminal had to be sent to Oxford prison for further inquiries. That is why there was a call from magistrate court. And within 2 minutes, the governor was wondering whether that could be a hoax. And within 2 minutes, Mr. within 2 minutes, governor was thinking if that was a fake call. If that was a fake call, if that call was not from the state court, that call from other places, means that call from Ivan's friend who were involved in Ivan's escaping plan. He told him, so he was thinking like that, but he sent a prison van with 2 prison officers to the magistrate court. He told himself not to be so silly. His imagination was beginning to run riot. When he thought, if there was a fake call, after thinking that, he tried to make himself understand that he should not think too much. And in this way, he was confused. He was saying to himself that he was thinking too much and he should not have thought too much. Okay, he was confused. Then he left that idea if the phone call was a fake call from the magistrate court. Evans. For the first quarter of an hour, Stephens had doubtfully peered through the peephole at intervals of 1 minute or so. And after that, every 2 minutes at 10:45 am, everything was still all right as he looked through the peephole once more. For the first quarter of an hour, for the first 50 minutes, Stephens had dutifully peered through the peephole at the interval of 1 minute in order to observe Ivan's activity inside the cell. But after that, he started peeping through the peephole at the interval of 2 minutes. In this way, at 10:45 am, everything was still and all right. Then at 10:45 am, when he looked through the peephole, then it took 4 or 5 seconds, no more. What was the point? It was always more or less the same. Evans, his pen between his lips, sat staring straight in front of him towards the door. When he peeped through the peephole at 10:45 am, and he found the situation same. Evans was sitting by putting the tip of his pen between his lips, and he was staring straight in front of him. It seemed he was trying to find some inspiration to write the correct answer. It seemed some sorely inspiration. Somewhere and opposite him, McClary, seated slightly askew from the table now, and just opposite to Evans, Stuart McClary, impersonating Stuart McClary, you know very well, I think. Impersonating Stuart McClary was sitting on a chair by bending slightly from the table. Means he was sitting on the chair, but he leaned on the table. That is why he was sitting by bending on a chair, by bending for taking support of the table. Askew form, in a bending form, slanting form, he was sitting. He was sitting on a chair, but he leaned on the table for the support. Okay, that is why he was sitting in slanting form on his chair. His face in front, his face in semi-profile, his face, McClary's face was half seen. Stephens saw McClary's half face. Pretty closely half face. His hair, as Stephens had noticed earlier, amateurishly clipped pretty close to the scalp. As Stephens already had observed that McClary's hair was cut unprofessionally, just close to the scalp. Scalp, scalp is the upper portion of head on which hair is grown. Okay, McClary's hair was cut unprofessionally close to the scalp. Okay, it means his hair was close cropped, and his eyes behind the pebble lenses peering short-sightedly at the church times. His right index finger hooked beneath the narrow clerical collar, and the fingers of the left hand, the nails meticulously manicured, slowly stroking the short black beard. And McClary was putting his spectacles on his eyes, and that had pebble lenses. The lenses of the spectacles were round, in a round shape, and they were of high power lens. Okay, McClary was wearing high powered lenses, and he was reading Church Times newspaper. While he was reading Church Times newspaper, by putting his pebble lenses on his eyes, that time his right index finger hooked beneath the narrow clerical collar, here like that, and the fingers of his left hand, the nails of those fingers were cut sharply, cut very well, pared very well, and with the help of the fingers of his left hands, he was slowly stroking his short black beard like that. Clear? At 10:50 am, the receiver crackled to life, and the governor realized he had almost forgotten Evans for a few minutes. At 10:50 am, receiver crackled to life. He heard the voices of Stuart McClary and Evans through the receiver at 10:50 am. He said at 10:50 am receiver crackled. It means voices of McClary and Evans were heard. ठीक है ना? After that, and the governor realized he had almost forgotten Evans for a few minutes. Governor realized he had almost forgotten Evans for a few minutes, because when he heard his voice through the receiver, Evans, please sir. Governor heard that Evans was calling Stuart McClary in a requesting manner by calling him please sir in a low voice. At first he called Stuart McClary in a low voice. When Stuart McLary did not listen. Then he again called him in a louder voice. Evans, would you mind it? And after that, when Stuart McLary heard his voice, then he requested him to allow him to cover himself with a blanket. It is a bit sparkly in here, is not it? And he also told McLary that he was feeling cold in his cell, that is why he needed a blanket to cover himself. Silence. Evans, there is one of the bunk here. I told that he had a blanket which was given to him by the prison officers. McLary, be quick about it. Then McLary permitted Evans to cover himself with that blanket, but he also instructed him whatever he wanted to do, he had to do it quickly. At 10:51 am, Stephens was more than a little surprised to see Mr. Evans covered himself with the blanket. Stephens did not know, because when Stephens saw him before through the peephole at 10:45 am, then he saw that Evans was sitting by putting the tip of his pen between his lips, and he was looking in front of him. It seemed he was seeking some inspiration to write correct answers. Okay, at 10:51 am, when Stephens again looked through the peephole, then he was surprised. He was surprised to see grey officially given blanket, which he was surprised to see a grey officially given blanket draped covered round Evans' shoulder. When he looked through the peephole at 10:51 am, he was surprised, because that time Evans was covering her body with a grey colored regulation blanket, officially given blanket. And he frowned slightly and looked at the examinee more closely. When he looked at Evans was covering himself with a grey colored blanket, then he became little bit angry, and that is why he looked at the examinee, looked at Evans more closely. But Evans, the pen still between his teeth, was staring just as vacantly as before. When he looked at Evans, that time also Evans was sitting by putting the tip of his pen between his teeth and was staring vacantly as before he was staring. Blankly beneath a blanket. Blankly beneath a blanket should Stephens report the slight regularity. When Stephens saw that Evans was covering himself with the blanket, then Stephens thought if he should inform Jackson about that slightest irregularity about Evans, anything that all fishy, because he was considering it doubtful. He was considering the situation doubtful. That is why he asked himself if he should have informed Jackson about it. Had not Jackson said, and he asked himself also a question, if Jackson had not said, if he found anything wrong, doubtful, then he should have to inform him. He looked through the peephole once again. After that, he once again looked through the peephole after thinking, And even as he did so, Evans pulled the dirty blanket more closely to himself. When Stephens looked to the people once again, then Evans was observing that Stephens was looking at him. That is why when Stephens looked to the people once again, then he put his blanket more closely. Okay? He pulled the dirty blanket more closely to himself in order to hide him from Stephens. Was he planning a sudden Batman leap to suffocate McClary in the blanket? When Evans did this, then Stephens was thinking if Evans was making a plan for the sudden Batman leap to suffocate McClary in the blanket. When Evans pulled the blanket more closely, Stephens thought if he wanted to suffocate McClary suddenly like a Batman leap in his blanket. Don't be daft. Then he replied himself, answered his question himself, not to be so mad, not to be develop that foolish idea. There was never any sun on this side of the prison, no heating either during the summer months, and it could get quite chilly in some of the cells. And Stephens was trying to make himself understand by saying that there was no sun. The sun rays were not falling in the cell. That is why there was no warmth inside the cell. Even during the summer season, summer month, sun rays were not falling in the cell. That is why there could be quite cold in some of the cell because of in absence of sun rays, heat of the sun. Stephens decided to revert to his earlier every minute observation. And after thinking that, Stephens decided to change his earlier every minute observation. At 11:20 a.m., the receiver once more crackled across the silence of the governor's office. At 11:20 a.m., Governor again heard McClary's voice. And McClary informed Evans that only 5 minutes remained. That time McClary was informing Evans that only 5 minutes were left to finish the examination. 5 minutes were remaining. The examination was almost over now, but something still gnawed away quietly in governor's mind. Examination was almost over now, but governor was still doubtful, and something going on, some doubts were being developed in his mind. He was thinking if Evans would not escape from the prison. He reached for the phone once more. After that, he reached for the phone in order to dial the number of examination board. It has not been written here, but he reached for the phone for dialing the number of examination board at 11:22, because 11:20 he heard McClary's voice. McClary was informing Evans that only 5 minutes were remaining to finish the exam. Okay, that is why governor reached for the phone, because he was doubtful. Some doubts were immersed in his mind. That is why he reached to the phone in order to dial the number of examination board. Okay, at 11:22. At 11:22 a.m., Jackson shouted along the corridor to Stephens. At 11:22 a.m., Jackson called Stephens in a loud voice. Clear? Now suspense has been created here because it has not been written that governor reached for the phone for dialing the number of examination board. Only it has been written that governor reached for the phone once more. Okay. So now listen. At 11:22 am, Jackson shouted along the corridor to Stephens. At 11:22 am, Jackson called Stephens along the corridor loudly. The governor wanted to speak with him. Why he called Stephens loudly down the corridor? In order to tell him that governor wanted to speak with him. Okay? Governor means it has been written, governor reached for the phone once more. It means reader might understand that governor called. Governor instructed Jackson to give phone to Stephens, that is why he wanted to speak. Okay? But it was not there. ठीक है? Governor reached for the phone for dialing the number of examination board, but he found engaged tone there. ठीक है? Understood? And wanted to speak with him. Hurry man, Stephens picked up the phone apprehensively and listened to the rapidly spoken orders. After the Stephens took the phone from Jackson in fear and listened the rapidly spoken instruction orders given by the governor. Students, it was not the governor's orders. It was not governor who was giving order to Stephens. I already told you while telling the summary. Clear? And spoken orders. Stephens himself was to accompany McClary to the main prison gates. Understood? What orders were being given to Stephens by the governor? The orders were that Stephens himself had to accompany McClary to the main prison gate. Stephen himself had to see McClary off to the main prison gate. Clear? Understood? It was not call from the governor. Clear? You should try to understand. It was not call from the governor. It was a fake call. It was the call from Ivan's friend. Okay? And Ivan's friend wanted to give instruction to Stephens because Stephens was newly recruited prison officer and he was not as intelligent as Jackson was. That is why that instruction was given to Stephens. Okay? In the words of governor. Clear? And governor was instructing Stephens personally. Stephens personally was to make absolutely sure that the door was locked on Evans after McClary had left the cell. Understood? And governor also instructed McClary that he should make himself sure if the door was locked, the door of Ivan's cell was locked after they left the cell. Means the governor instructed Stephens that he should make himself sure he should lock the door of Ivan's cell after coming out of his cell. Clear? Okay, those instructions were given to Stephens so that Stephens might not suspect on the call. Okay, he should believe in the call. He should believe that it was the call from governor, and it happened. Stephens believed. Jackson also could not understand if it was the call from governor or not. Okay. Understood. After that, 11:25 am, the governor heard the file exchanges. At 11:25 am, governor instructed Stephens, fake governor, and 11:25 am, the governor heard the final exchanges. Stop writing, please. At 11:25 am, governor heard McClary's voice. He was instructing Evans to stop writing. Then silence was spread. McClary, put your sheets in order. and see they are correctly numbered or not. After instructing Evans to stop writing, he also instructed Evans to put his answer sheets in proper order, in correct order, and tagged them. Scraping of the chairs and tables. And then governor heard scraping of the chairs and tables through receiver. Evans, thank you very much, sir. And governor also heard Evans' voice. He was paying thanks to Stuart McLary. McLary, all right, was it? McLary asked Evans if he had attempted all questions given in question paper. Evans, not too bad. Means if he had written proper answers, he knew the answer of the question, then how was his question paper? Then Evans answered, not too bad. McLary, good, Mr. Stephens, very loud. After that, McLary called Stephens. Then what happened? McLary called Stephens because examination was finished and he wanted to go outside. It means impersonating McLary also knew that at 11:25 a.m. after the completion of the examination, he would go up to the prison gate along with the prison officer Stephens. Clear? That is why he called Stephens loudly. Okay. The governor heard the door clang for the last time. The examination was over. After that, when McLary went outside of the prison cell, then governor heard the clanging sound of the door of the cell last time. Okay. How did he get on, do you think? Asked Stephens as walked beside McLary to main gates. While McLary was going up to the main gate of prison along with Stephens asked McLary how Evans' examination was. If he had written proper answers of the questions given in question paper. Ouch, I cannot think he is distinguished himself. Then McLary told Stephens that he could not think if he had written the answers of all questions given in the question paper, and he also told Stephens that he could not think that he was very good in studies. I am afraid his Scots accent seemed broader than ever. While he was speaking to Stephens, his Scottish accents were being appeared broader than before, and his long black overcoat reaching almost to his knees, and the overcoat which he was wearing, it was reaching up to his knees. Clear? Because McLary, impersonating McLary, when entered Evans' cell, then that time he was wearing two overcoats. Okay, while telling somebody, I told you, one overcoat he left in the cell for Evans. That is why when he removed one overcoat, then the size of that overcoat which he was wearing seemed lengthy. Okay, seemed big, and that overcoat seemed lengthy, and it reached almost to his knees, fostered the illusion that he had suddenly grown slimmer. When Stephens saw that his overcoat, McLary's overcoat, which he was wearing while coming to prison, while reaching to prison, it was not reaching up to his knees, but while he was leaving the prison, then it was reaching up to his knees. Okay, means it became bigger in size, and that is why Stephens thought, Stephens did not know that he was wearing two overcoats. That is why Stephens thought if McLary had suddenly grown slimmer. Now students, I think this is too much, and tomorrow I'll explain fourth part of the lesson. Thank you and have a nice day.